designed this rim so we could mount tires very easily with our hands and inflate them with a floor pump. Today I'm going to use the Hutchinson Intensive Tubeless Road Tire. Whenever you're mounting on a tubeless rim, you always want to leave the valve stem portion, the last part that you mount the tire. I start the tire, I hang it like this because it makes it easier. Make sure the top section is in the drop channel, and when you get to the lower sections, the tire should just fall right on. Right now we have one bead on the tire. What I want to do now is make sure that this section of the bead is on the opposite between the valve stem and the rim, which this one is. Now I'm going to mount the second bead. Then again, leaving the valve stem to the last portion. And what we're going to do here is I apply a little side load. I'm trying to force the tire this way with my hand. At the same time, I'm pushing this section of the tire down into the drop channel. Okay, this very center portion of the rim is the drop channel. When we refer to the drop channel, this is the portion we're speaking of. When you're mounting and dismounting the tires, you have to get both beads completely in this drop channel or the tire will not mount. When we're speaking of the tubeless bench, this is the tubeless bench right here, this flat section on both sides. With this tubeless bench, if part of the tire is up on this tubeless bench, you will not get the tire mounted or you will not get the tire dismounted. If you don't do this because it's a tubeless rim, you won't get the last section of the tire mounted. And then I just simply roll the tire on with your fingers and the second bead is mounted. At this point, we just want to make sure that both beads of the tire are on each side of the valve stem, which they are. I can see them both really well. I pat the tire a little bit to take a little shape. Before we ever put sealant into a tire, we want to make sure that we can inflate it. This rim design allows the tires to inflate very, very easy. I'm going to put a floor pump onto it, and even with the floor pump, there's no big radical pumping. You can pump faster if you want to, but this tire is already inflating. It's coming up right now. And we take that up to, she's about 40 psi right there. At this point, we'll just remove the pump, let the air out of the tire. I want to show you how to dismount the tire. In order to dismount the tire, because it's tubeless, you do the same thing. I'm going to take all the pressure and pull it towards the valve stem, but with your other hand, you're going to push it off the tubeless bench all the way around, get it into the drop channel. By getting this into the drop channel, it makes the tire a little bit longer in this direction. You can take your plastic tire lever at the valve stem and just get up underneath the bead of the tire, and a little simple quick pull, it should come right off. The second bead of the tire, same thing, the valve stem at the top, you pull that section off first and the tire comes right off. It's dismounted. Now we're going to mount this tire back again. This time I'm going to show you how to put sealant inside the tire. We run 2 ounces of sealant in every one of our tires. First bead's mounted. And the second bead is the little bit more difficult one. Just get all the play up and just roll it down with your fingers. It's mounted. Now we make sure the valve stem, now this side is perfectly fine, but this side, I hurried that first one, it's sitting right over the valve stem. So now I moved it over, now it's down between it. I designed a special valve stem. The valve stem is higher on the inside, which makes it easier to mount and dismount tires. This is a special stem that we worked on. What this does, it allows the tire to sit on each side of the valve stem without plugging that hole. Now we're going to pump it and make sure that it inflates. Once we get the tire inflated, we'll take this valve stem, take the floor pump back off, let the air out of the tire. We're going to put this valve stem at 7 o'clock or 5 o'clock, whichever you prefer. Remove the valve core. Once the core is removed, we'll take a 2-ounce bottle of sealant, shake it really good, put it upside down, invert it right into that. Inject a full 2 ounces into the tire. I like to use the 2-ounce bottles because they contain the proper amount of crystals. One 2-ounce bottle will probably last 2,000 miles for the tire, possibly the whole life of the tire, or at least one good full season. Put the valve core back in. Now we can put our pump back on. And then reinflate the tire with the sealant in there. And as you see, the tire's already inflated. That's pretty much it. Now you're inflated, your sealant, you don't need to shake the road tire, just go ride it.